If you want to open your own photo studio and you want to make additional money, I'm going to tell you now is not the time. And I'm going to tell you there are 6 reasons why I think you should be waiting. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some negotiating tactics on your lease that is inspired by this comment right here on my YouTube channel. So let's get started. Number 1, you're probably thinking, Waleed, you have a whole playlist on having a photo studio, that playlist being right here. So what gives? Why are you saying no, not right now? Because the economy is changing. I still think photo studios are profitable. So the question is there still profitability in photo studios? Yes, absolutely. But if you could put $80,000 in your pocket, or you could put $150,000 in your pocket, why wouldn't you just wait and line yourself up for a bigger win just a little bit right down the road? So yes, it's still profitable. Point number 2 in this video right here is the recession. The recession is here.
Recession! It is time that we talked about the recession and how to prepare for it.
World economy inevitable. And which nations are most at risk?
Some people will debate it just because of politics and elections, but the recession is here. We're watching companies lay off, home sales slow down, all of that. That's going to affect how you can negotiate a lease. That's going to affect where you should be going, and that should affect what size of a studio you should be getting. I want to talk to you mainly about leveraging this recession for your gain. Now, yes, we are in a recession. I think that we're more at the beginning stages of it. So not all facets of the economy have felt the effects of it. And what that means is there are certain percentages of the population that are still in denial about us being in a recession. Once everyone got the memo, that's when you're going to start noticing the rates, the monthly rates that you can lock in for your lease come down substantially. The more it comes down, the more money you get to put in your pocket. So it's about leveraging this recession. Why negotiate a long-term lease with anybody when not everybody agrees if we're in a recession yet? Just wait a few more months, 6 more months, end of 2023 even, and then we're gonna all be on the same page, and then we're all going to agree, lower those damn prices so I can take your empty space off of your hands. So we're going to leverage the recession. Now, point number 3 is the lease trap. Go with a smaller, bigger business. When I started my career, the last recession, there were people like the building behind me, they were renting out the entire space, and they had multiple sound stages in there, and they had like state-of-the-art everything. And they had multiple cars and restaurants, and they just wined and dined everybody. I hate that phrase, wine and dine, it's so LA, but they were wining and dining everybody. And then the recession happened. And then they were stuck in long-term leases. That's why lease is an important topic that we're going to be talking about. Okay, so you might sign a lease for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, and let's just say you lock them in right now before everybody agrees that we're in a recession, or lock them in at a high rate. As the economy starts to plummet, you're stuck paying these prices. They're not going to let you out of this lease because they're losing other spaces, other vacancies are popping up on their radar, and they're like, no, you're stuck here and you're going to be penalized if you leave early, so you're going to pay the high price. That's why I say use that economy, the recession, as a leverage. Wait it out a little bit. Wait for these landlords to become thirsty. Wait for them to get a little more desperate. They've been taking advantage of you and I for years and years and years. It's our turn, the consumer base, to turn the table around. Do all the other stuff in your studio business. Get the social media up and running. Get your branding, get your logos, get everything like that. And then as they start to get hungrier and hungrier, you come in and you sign a lease. Now the lease trap is also this. Don't sign a 1-year lease. What happens is I noticed, like when I first had my big studio, 5-point studio, it was massive. A lot of places before that one would only sign a 1-year lease with me. Let me explain to you what a 1-year lease means. I have to get the place, generally out of pocket, out of my own wallet, up to speed. I gotta fix the electrical, I gotta make it presentable, I gotta get the branding out there, I gotta clean it up. And then in 1 year, they get to kick me out if they want. They get to double the rent if they want, because in many, many cities, a commercial lease does not have the same protection as a residential lease. So a 1-year lease for your studio is a trap. Avoid that at all costs. I would say really, I would do a 3-year lease. It takes you a year just to get things up and running to where you want. Another year to really get that momentum building. Why would you allow somebody to potentially raise the rent on you? And these landlords are thirsty, not all of them. So if your family member is a landlord, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about someone else's down the street. What happens is that they know if your business is doing very well. They know how much it's gonna cost you if you have to shut your business down, move to a new location, and rebrand and renegotiate with somebody else. So they're gonna maximize their profits and raise it up as much as possible. Remember, in many cities in America, the commercial leases don't have the same protection as the residential leases. So they can have you by the you know what. That is a trap that a lot of people won't talk to you about. Now, I said something about a bigger, smaller business. I was mentioning it a little bit earlier, like the building behind me. There were a lot of people in the last recession that had massive overheads and expensive cars and expensive homes and so many different assistants and everybody. And then the economy plummeted virtually overnight and the budgets stopped. People still needed to get things done, but a lot of the budget stopped. Then comes new, younger talent like myself at the time. And I'm like, I'm not undercutting anybody because I don't like undercutters. But I came in and I'm like, I don't need a $40,000 budget. I can do that for $25,000 or $30,000. And the record labels are like, are you kidding me? Let me see your work. And I would show them the work, like, you're hired. And so I started building my portfolio that way. And this was also the rise of digital versus film. So there was a whole other war. We now have the rise of AI versus real artistry, and we have another recession coming in. So lots of changes going to be coming in. So go smaller. The shopping centers are a perfect hack for a photo studio. You can get a 1, 2, even 3,000 square foot studio with built-in bathroom, built-in air conditioning. Because remember, these shopping centers were once stores, and you got built-in parking. No, not just that. You also have built-in business from all the surrounding businesses. If you're in a warehouse district, you got a massive warehouse where the ceilings are like 24 feet high. Try to turn on the AC if it even works in that space, and $5,000 later, you're drowning in debt. A space that was once a clothing store, a skate shop, that could have been a little restaurant, they've got their bathroom set up. They probably have some sort of like halfway kitchen set up for you. They've got individual rooms. They've got the AC and the heating set up for you. You're golden. That's the best thing to do. You're golden because there's going to be, if there's a cool shopping center there, if there's a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls or a sporting goods store or a hair salon store, doesn't matter. You're at least getting some foot traffic that's going to come and see your studio. And you got parking. Parking, if you are in one of the big cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, parking is like a whole other mafia. So if you can have parking built in and there's several hundred spaces, you can't lose. You just can't lose. So when I say a big, small business, instead of having like a massive space where it's like one entire floor here, shrink it down. That's what I would do if I have another studio. You don't have to wait for the $5,000 and $10,000 paydays for just movies. You can do $200, $500 rentals. That's back to back to back to back. It's more of like a Walmart. They put a lot of money in their cash register versus like a Louis Vuitton that may sell 5 bags in a day, but they're high price point items. You just want to get people in and out. A shopping center would be an amazing space. So think smaller and think smaller rent. So as the economy falls even further or starts rising up, you have less savings that you're going to dig out of because your rent is not going to be that expensive. If the economy goes back up, you're going to have way more profits that you're putting in your pocket. Point number 5 right up here is these leasing agents. Now, I found out the hard way. When I purchased my home, I had one real estate agent, and this person would go through the MLS. The MLS is where all the home listings are, and it doesn't matter which real estate agent you're using, everybody gets what's on the market. That's what I thought commercial real estate was. Oh no, my friends, commercial real estate is a whole different ballgame. I thought that a commercial agent would show me everything, but they're not. They're only showing me what they represent. Kind of goes like property. Like, these 5 buildings are mine, and then when you ask if there's a warehouse available to rent, I'm gonna say beyond these 5, I don't know. But the second thing about leasing agents for the commercial world is, and I was told by a leasing agent, is It's okay to work with multiple. In a residential situation, it's not okay. You gotta have one agent or one agency working on your behalf. On commercial, you can have multiple because they're only gonna show you what they have their hand in the pot for. So maybe they're 5 or 10 listings, maybe they're friends 4 or 5 listings, and they might get a little bit of a cut out of it, and that's it. So it would benefit you to have multiple agents and to also look online and to also put on alerts, whether it's Craigslist or different places. But how I found my studio is I found without an agent, got on my bike, and I started pedaling up and down the roads of downtown Los Angeles. And I would only see what's there. If I saw a sign, I would call them and see if there's a vacancy. I also found out that a lot of times you might think a place is vacant. No, part of the agreement with the leasing agent is they get to advertise and pretend the place is for rent. It's just the way it goes. So be prepared for a little bit of heartbreak because you're like, then why did you guys even have the sign? But you just have to drop that battle and just put all your energy into finding your perfect space. Do research on your photo studio. You can only win by doing that. If this video helped you out a lot and you learned, I would love for you to check out this whole other playlist. All of it has to do with photo studio information that I'm sharing with you. All of it is still relevant. I'm just saying pause a moment just because of the recession and then pounce really, really big. Please subscribe to this channel, give it a like. That really helps with the algorithm and I can teach more of our community. My name is Walid. All my socials, all my links are in the description of this video. Thank you so much. I will speak with you next time. All right, bye-bye.